Hello. Mango is here to join us today. She's knocked our lights down about 3 times. Are you being cheeky? Look at the little toe beans. Are you being cheeky? Come here. She's sat on my lap and she's purring. So anyway, you may be thinking, Kaya, what's going on with your makeup? It is incomplete. So, we post... In the last video that we posted, we got loads and loads and loads of comments from people asking for a makeup tutorial on the eye look that we were doing. So I thought today we'll sit down, we'll do that, and I'll answer some questions from our patrons. As you can see, most of my makeup is done, which is the base and eyebrows and blush and stuff like that. So we're just focusing on the eyes today, which is actually a really, really easy eye look. This is the Nikki Tutorials X Beauty Bay palette. 2 brushes, fluffy blending brush, and a smaller brush for doing under eye work. Eyelashes, these are ancient ruby strip lashes from Lola's Lashes. The only eyelashes we've ever used has been from Lola's Lashes. This isn't sponsored or anything. And Duo Glue and Lola's Lashes. It's like an eyeliner that's also magnetic, but it's also adhesive as well. That means that it works with their magnetic eyelashes and also any normal strip lash. You may see some separation around my forehead. That's because I've been doing that. I'm leaning on my forehead and it's rubbed the foundation like just between my eyebrows away. When you do it, you won't have that because you won't be rubbing, hopefully. I started with Mila, which is this lighter brown shade here. I use that with the fluffy brush from here to here in the crease. I'm going to put that colour down and blend it out towards the brow bone. So the first question I got is, what do you wish for from this coming year? Our first New Year's resolution is, don't wait for things to stop being hard to allow yourselves to be happy. We actually got that when we were watching a TikTok and I was bawling by the end of this TikTok, right? Bawling my eyes out. And it was of this incredible lady. I think she went by Nightbird. She had cancer. And she'd gone on, I'm pretty sure it was America's Got Talent. It was one of the talent shows. She died less than a year later. But one of the things she said was, I'm more than the bad things that have happened to me. And another thing she said was, you can't wait for things to stop being hard for you to be happy. And we were like, oh man. Yeah, that stuck with us real hard, real fast. I don't know if a lot of other chronically ill people feel this way, but a lot of the time we're just surviving rather than living. So now that I've packed this colour down, I'm just going to really lightly use the blending brush to disperse the colour from here higher up to the brow bone. You don't want to touch the brow, put it maybe to there. I'm going to blend it up to there so that it's a nice even blend. Our next New Year's resolution is see at least one friend at least once a fortnight. And this actually ties in with another question that we got from a different patron. As a system who struggles to go out much, how do you all make friends and stay socially connected? I'm a singlet who struggles with anxiety and BPD, and I find it hard to put myself out there and emotionally connect with people in real life. I'm not going to be able to give you an answer that you're happy with, unfortunately, because that's something we're terrible at. As another one of our New Year's resolutions is go outside at least once a fortnight. So we, unsurprisingly, have a lot of trust issues. I don't think that's anything to be ashamed of. I think people who've experienced a lot of trauma, especially if you have disorganized attachments, which as somebody with DID, we do. To have DID, you need to have disorganized attachments to your primary caregiver or primary caregivers. So we find it really, really difficult to trust people. Also because of other things that have happened, we have agoraphobia to an extent where we just don't leave the house unless we have, you know, we're going to meet up with somebody or do something. And we don't live near many people. Most of our friends live in London, and we do not live in London. So between that and the fact that we don't trust people and we don't really make new friends because of those trust issues, our circle is extremely small. our social circle. And that's the way we like it. We're very, very careful with who we allow into it. I'm now bringing this down slightly, just into the outer third of my lower lid. Very, very light touch. You don't want this to be a harsh line. Keep it fluffy. If you can hear noise, it's the kittens playing with cardboard boxes just outside the room. So I know that's not going to be helpful for how do I make friends. I don't know. Go out and do things in your area, I'd say. If you live in a rural area, obviously that's going to be harder, but like joining clubs. If you're still in school, that's an ideal way to make friends. It's a lot harder when you're an adult to find situations where you meet new people. I know it's difficult to put yourself out there, especially if you are shy because of your disorders or because of anything else. Maybe you're just a shy person. I do genuinely think that it is worth it to put yourself out there and try and find people you connect with. There are apps that exist specifically for making friends. I think there's Bumble has a friends version of it or something like that, and I'm pretty sure there's a load of other apps around that are, you know, for like people in your area, and always let somebody know you're going and who you're going to be with and when they can expect a message from you, so that you know somebody knows where you are and that you're going to be safe. Even better, take a friend with you, an existing friend, and be careful when you're meeting new people, obviously. But for some people, a lot of our lives exist online, especially if you work from home. It can be easy to forget that online interaction isn't necessarily fulfilling all the needs that would be met by physical, personal interaction. It's part of the human experience to need other people. And I know for some people that's really scary. But it doesn't mean that you have to rely on other people. It doesn't make you needy. It doesn't make you a burden. It's an inbuilt human need. We're pack animals. We're not built to be solitary. We're built to be around other humans and other animals. That's why so many of us have pets. Why so many of us group together in cities and villages and communities exist. We wouldn't need them if we were solitary, if we were built that way. And some people might prefer their own space, and that's absolutely fine. But it's still something that, as humans, most of us tend to seek out. And I don't think that anybody will judge you for wanting to make friends. Everyone can relate to that desire of wanting to fit in, wanting to be cared about, wanting to be part of something. You'll find your people, but you do have to put yourself out there to do it. You're never going to meet them if you don't go for it. If you can do it, clubs, even coffee shops. I know some people who've made friends just because they go really regularly to the same coffee shop, make friends with either other regulars there or the people who work there. Some people have even got a job that way. Be outside and let yourself be open to opportunities. And remember, you have something to give. Even if you think that you're unlovable, even if you feel like there's nothing about you that would make people want to be friends with you, I guarantee there is. Okay, next we're going to take the darkest in this palette, brown. It's called 5 AM. Darken the crease. Just here. Just the outer third of it, we're going to darken that. As you can see, that was using a really light hand and not much pigment. This palette goes a really long way. Nikki Tutorials knows what she's doing. And that looks like a really harsh line. And if you put it down and you're not used to doing makeup, you're probably going to look at it and be like, oh my god, that's really scary. Don't worry, it will blend out. I promise it'll be fine. Make sure to use a really soft touch when you're blending upwards as well. The softer your hand is and the softer the connection between the brush tip and your skin, the more diffused the pigment is going to be. Some people like to go in circles, some people go back and forth, whatever feels most comfortable for you. I also then like to use whatever's left over on the brush to connect to the bottom lid, just the very corner of it. So we're essentially using this to make an outer V, like a sideways V shape. Another question, this one from Mel Collective. Happy 2023. Thank you. Happy 2023 to you too. How do you work with an alter that makes it very clear they don't like you? Like they aren't a persecutor, they just don't like you personally. That's gonna happen. I have alters that I don't get on with, and there are alters in my system that I get on with great, and other alters who are close to me don't get on with at all, right? Even though none of them are persecutors. For example, Mike and Gregory do not get on at all. Their personalities just do not mix well, they don't like each other, and just like if you were sharing an apartment or sharing a house with random people off the street. Everyone has a different experience, different background, different thoughts and opinions. Not everyone's going to like each other, and that's okay. You don't have to be best friends in order to be functioning as a system. The best way to approach this in most cases is to not force it and to let them know that you know that they don't get on with you, and that's fine, and show that you respect that. But don't push. Give them their space. If there is an actual issue that they want to work out with you, you can always bring it up and be like, look, I think you're really cool. I want us to be able to exist in the same space, like happily. Is there something I've done to make you dislike me so much? Like, is there something that I'm doing that's putting you on edge? Or have I like stepped on your toes to not realize? Because I'd really like to know if you're comfortable telling me so I can make sure that I don't do that again. Because even though we aren't best of friends, I don't want to make life difficult for you, and I don't want to hurt you even accidentally. And I'd really love to, smooth that over. And if they're like, there's nothing you did, I just think you're a twat. That's fine. It's gonna hurt your feelings. Okay, got a couple of inputs from two alters who are really close right now. Both of whom are new. We had kind of a super triggering couple weeks around an already triggering period of time and split two alters from that, which I would love some peace. Just some peace so that our brain doesn't constantly think that we're in crisis mode. Anyway, they're great and I love them both. One of them, at the very least, is stepping in to be our new primary protector from the looks of it, which is really good because we've been a couple of years now, since I've used, we haven't had like a set, specific, singular primary protector. I've been host and then doing what I can to fill in the parts of the job that work Kyle, but I can't do both. Mike stepped up for a bit to do bits, Sally was doing bits, Jade was doing bits, and she really couldn't, stretch herself out that far. We had some extra help from some members of the subsystem. It was a whole thing. Basically, everyone had to pick up a load and everyone was kind of doing bits of a job that previously was solely held by Kyle. So this was needed. Our brain obviously went, oh, this is an extremely distressing time. You're traumatized. There's a lot of trauma memories coming back up, and some twat online decided that they're going to go after your littles and you're really, really, really triggered by it. Are we gonna die? And our brain was like, not on our watch, have these, and split. In the process of introducing that, I completely forgotten what they just said to me. It was something along the lines of, just because somebody thinks you're a twat doesn't mean you are a twat. And some people just think that everyone's a twat, and it's not personal. And you can be an aggressive or angry person and not be a bad person. And someone can take issue with you, and you still not be the problem. I think I heard this quote somewhere once. You could be the sweetest peach on the tree. The sweetest, juiciest, loveliest peach in existence. Anywhere. And there will always be some people who just don't like peaches. That doesn't mean you're a bad peach. Some people just don't like peaches. Other people love peaches, but you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. And that's alright. Learning to accept that and know that you don't have to be perfect or please everybody, because it's literally impossible to do that, you'll be a lot happier. Okay, so now those colours are blended out, is the fun part. This one here, Pride. I'm going to use my finger. I feel like it gives the best payoff, and just rub it in very gently. Again, you do not need much with this palette. It's insane, and like the glittery sparkly shades in here are like no palette I've used before. It's fantastic. I'm going to press it onto the lid. Just press and pull gently. See? Insane. When you get towards the top of the lid, you're going to tap so that the pigment is dispersed a little bit. You're going to cover the whole eyelid with that, just like that. I like to have it so that a little bit of just glitter, but not colour, covers slightly where the line of the crease that we've made is with the darker browns. So I tap the remaining pigment, which will just be tiny bits of glitters rather than the big pink payoff, just gently over that line, and it will give you a bit of a sparkle. And you can use this with any colour. That's the good thing about this, brown works with any colour. And obviously if your skin is darker, you can use blacks, maybe even like dark purples or blues as your transition shades. if the browns in the palettes that you have aren't dark enough to create a sense of dimension on your skin. And then I'm also going to take a tiny bit, generally what's left over, and push it where your tear duct would be and where your eye meets the corner of your nose. So like here, I just gently tap and press that on. We have a question from Audrey. What was it like for everyone when you were getting diagnosed? Very curious about the timeline / process and the transition for Chloe. I may make a whole video on that. And obviously we've had a second diagnosis as well since then. So our first diagnosis of DID, official diagnosis, was from the Pottergate Centre by Remy. And then we also got one years later from a psychiatrist on the NHS. So we have 2 official diagnoses of DID. But before we had the diagnosis, a therapist said to us, I think you might have DID. That was what put the thought in our head. And it was a process, and I'm more than happy to tell you about it. And what I did last time was to kind of mix the pink and the browns and make it more cohesive. For me, it's sort of a dark peach colour. It's called Zoma, where the pink starts to meet the browns lightly. So this will come off as a kind of peach. So that works as another transition shade. You're going to want that especially in your outer third. And remember, it doesn't matter if this is perfect, because a lot of it's going to be hidden by eyelashes and eyeliner, and that helps blend things too. But I find that this really helps to blend the starkness of the pink, because this is a really Barbie pink glitter, with the browns. If you've had trouble blending, you can also add that to the very edge of where the brown meets the rest of your skin. If you have light coloured skin like me, I don't think that would work with people who have darker skin though. It only works for me because it's a closer colour to my skin. It's a transition shade between my natural skin colour, which is very pale, and the darker brown. So it will only work if it's a mid-range between whatever colour you've used and your actual skin colour. The darkest brown, very lightly into the outer third of your under eye. Depending on how harsh you want that colour to be, you can either stamp or drag. Stamp will give you more colour payoff. Drag will make it more blended and diffused. This will help the dark lashes blend in better with your under eye, so it doesn't look so stark. Then we're going to go back to that fluffy blush, Zoomer again, and again under the under eye, further this time, but also over that brown that you just put down to soften it. That way you should have on your under eye a brown that's blending into a peach. At the very, very top is Ivy. I'm doing silver because there's a blue shift in the pink glitter. And put that just in your inner corner. Again, I'm using my finger. I find it gives a better colour payoff. Roxy, this one here, that's a peachier pink right under the arch of your eyebrow. We're using it as a highlighter. That will give a peachy pink shift of glitter, and that will tie in really nicely with the peach that we've already used and also work as both a transition and a highlighter. But you don't want that colour to be too dark, so be really light with your hand. This is the eyeliner I have at the minute. It's Physician's Formula. It's supposed to be good for your eyelashes or something. We're going to draw a little flick from the outer corner up towards where the end of your eyebrow is. You make that as long or as short as you want. When you reach the end of it, you're going to pull back from the tip that you've just created and back down towards your eye to give that little triangle shape. Doesn't really matter how well the shape or angle matches all that much, because it's going to be hidden, at least partially, by your eyelashes. You're then going to want to connect that to the lid and just do a nice thin line from about here, so about where the coloured part of your eye, your iris, ends in the inner third, and connect that outwards. You're going to want to keep the line relatively thin, at least for me I do because I have hooded eyes, but you need the line to be thick enough that it will blend in with the lash band of your false eyelashes, which will help to hide them. I'm going to use the Lola's Lashes lash adhesive. If I wanted them to stay on for a really long time, I'd use both that and duo glue, but because it's like midnight and I'm going to bed after this, I'll just stick to that. This also works as eyeliner on its own if you don't want to faff around with multiple products, because it's a nice black liquid. And then just pop your falsies on. Now if you want to blend your lashes together, apply dark mascara and it will help bond the false lashes and your natural lashes together. And then what I did for lips was I took the same pink glitter that we used on the eyes and just put it on my lips. And then I ran a clear gloss over it. I also used some of the lighter pink glitter, the sort of peachy colour glitter, as a highlighter. And you can do that too, if that's something you'd like to do. So this is the finished look. I hope that you enjoyed that and enjoyed me answering some questions. Do let us know if you prefer this style of video where we're chatting about something while doing something, or perhaps answering your DID related questions or mental health related questions while doing our makeup, and we can do more stuff like that if that's what you like. This is a nice and beginner friendly look. You can take it in as many or as little steps as you want. If you'd like to support us, it would be really amazing if you donated to or shared our fundraiser, which is www.crowdjustice.com/case/dissociative, which is to help us raise money for our legal fees. All the money goes directly to our lawyers. We don't see or touch a penny of it. Our lawyers are partnered with Crowd Justice itself, which is a legal fundraising platform just for legal cases. Any support and anything you have to share goes a long way, and we're really grateful for your support. I will see you in the next video. Lots of love, everybody. Alright, the 2 new alters I spoke about, also say hi. Okay. Lots of love, everybody. Bye. Oh my god, what do you want to say? We'll do it now because I want to shut the camera off and go to bed. I'm getting nothing. I don't know. Somebody wants you to know something, but I don't know what that something is, so I can't tell you. Bye.